Back to the show now, and another discussion amongst the farming community is about how to achieve net zero. A project in Cornwall is helping farmers do just that. 43 have signed up to farm net zero, and Joanna Carr went to meet two farmers who are trying to show that livestock farming can be sustainable.
They are magic machines.
In terms of environmental impact, farming, and particularly livestock farming, gets a bad rap.
They turn grass, which we can't eat, into a really nutrient-dense food source.
They are the cornerstone of a sustainable agricultural system.
In Cornwall, a project is helping farmers reduce their carbon footprints, save money and make their land more sustainable. Kate and Will Martin have been farming near St Austell for 15 years. They joined the Farm Net Zero project a few months ago as one of 40 monitor farms aiming to reduce emissions by 30% over 5 years.
By this time tomorrow, this part of this field is going to look just like this. And that's because here at Treway, they move their cattle onto new grazing every day.
It's a relatively new system for the Martins, and they're keen to find out if the changes they're making will reduce their carbon footprint.
We believe we're on the right sort of track, so hopefully doing this style of grazing, mob grazing, we can improve our carbon footprint.
These cows and calves feed on herbal leys, a mix of grasses, herbs and deep-rooting plants, and on homegrown silage in the winter. The Martins say the system reduces the need for artificial fertiliser and improves their soil health.
We wanted to become involved and to know that we're doing the right thing as well for nature, and we're not a carbon emitter, we're actually sinking more carbon into our fields.
Measuring soil health and the carbon stored in it is one of the ways Farm Net Zero is calculating the progress farms are making.
A really fundamental part of farming is to understand your soil.
Farmers are then able to calculate their carbon footprints using a specialist calculator that takes into account details about their business, including livestock, inputs such as fertilisers, as well as crops and soil carbon to show total carbon emissions and offsets.
One of the best ways to store carbon in the soil or increase carbon storage is to have grasslands. That's what we wanted. So you make grasslands economically viable, you need to graze them. We're really good at growing grass in the southwest, and livestock essential to that complete picture. You know, agriculture and horticulture, the only industries that can produce food and reduce greenhouse gases. Isn't that absolutely amazing?
This is Pensipple Farm, where 3 generations of Anthony Ellis's family have worked the land. The mixed arable and sheep farm is already beating its target of reducing emissions by 30%.
Ostensibly, at the moment, we're carbon negative. We've sequestered about 80 tonnes more carbon equivalent in the last 2 years than we've produced.
There's no one innovation here that's responsible for the reduction. Instead, Anthony said it was about making lots of smaller changes.
We decided to set up a trial to graze the wheat with the sheep.
He's also keen to experiment. Part of this wheat field was grazed by his sheep in early February to see if it had an impact on septoria, a disease that can reduce wheat yields.
So it's the disease that we target above all others, and where we've grazed it, we've seen less incidence of septoria. We're trying to develop a farming system that is much less dependent on artificial inputs, and so the sheep are a massive part of that because they're really, really good at recycling nutrients through the system. For me, it's creating a farming system that means that in 20, 30, 40, 80 years' time, my kids can continue to farm here if that's what they want to do.
The wheat trial was such a success, Anthony will be expanding it next year, and then looking out for the next thing to try. Joanna Carr, BBC Spotlight.
Well,